This guy was sometimes disrespected on the ice because he unfortunately lost the majority of his hair before he came to major prominence in major hockey. And allegedly, people would threw stuff at his head because he wasn't wearing a tassel cap or a hat, and they were bothered by his bald palate, not palate, but his bald pate. They used to call him Baldy, but I'm not going to use that word for the rest of the podcast because this guy wasn't just a nickname. He was friggin' talented. Now, Hal Winkler probably ranks as one of the most interesting careers in Boston Bruins history, and I'll tell you why. When he started his professional hockey career with the Edmonton Eskimos of the Western Hockey League, he was well placed there. He played 2 seasons with them, 55 games over the 23 and 24 campaigns. He graduated to another team in the league, the Calgary Tigers, where he played for 2 years in 25 and 26. Put up some really good numbers. But for some reason, when he hit the NHL, he became a goals against average guru. In these 3 seasons in the NHL, he never had a goals against average above 2 for the 2 teams he played for in 27 and the 1 team he played for in 28. Just hold on for a second, ladies and gentlemen. In the 27 season, he went 3-4-1 with the Rangers before the Bruins picked him up in a cash deal where he went 12-9-2 and played 8 games in the playoffs. But the 1928 season, despite the fact the league expanded its contest squad by quite a bit, he set a single season team record that still stands for Boston. He recorded 2 playoff shutouts for Boston in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 27 and 15 in the 1928 season. So some tremendous numbers. Now, the cash transaction that brought him to Boston, January 17, 27, and according to the obituary in the Montreal Gazette in 1956, when he died at a relatively young age of 62, he said he was extremely dedicated and needed to be recognized for one thing. During the 57-58 season, the Stanley Cup was redone. Now, because Winkler had played the majority of the 1929 season as a Bruins, roster player, but in the minors, he was eventually, name was put on the Stanley Cup. And a very, like I said, a very tireless worker. Now, when I say in the minors, he played with the Minneapolis Millers of the AHA that season as Boston's affiliate. But I'd like to know exactly why, if a guy that has put up 15 shutouts and 19 over 2 regular seasons for Boston and 2 with the Rangers. Again, 21 shutouts over 2 seasons, tremendous numbers in the regular season, 75 games. Let's look at that 1928 season. This is a glory season, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sitting down for the stats, 44 games, only give up 70 goals, 15 shutouts, a 1.51 average with a 20-13-11 record. 1,400 saves with a 95% save percentage. Hal Winkler also made the WCHL All-Star team in 1923. A very, very talented player who deserves our respect because you look at the history of the Boston Bruins, all the great goalies they had. Winkler's 15 shutouts has not been broken, and I don't think it ever will, although we've had a lot of great Boston goalies over the years. Usually most Boston games back in the day were not, say, shootouts, but obviously Boston had a 2-goalie system, or 3-goalie, back with Graham and Gilbert and Cheevers back in the 70s. But this guy, again, a good prospect from Manitoba, Gretna. I hope I'm pronouncing that right to all the people from Gretna. But when he made that Stanley Cup team finally in 1958, it was something that showed that the NHL was willing to recognize players like him that would move from the NHL to the minors. And at the time, the NHL was not only the only major league. There was a lot of talented squads and leagues you could play for. But Winkler's style, again, 5'8", 150, that was your typical goalie at the time. But 15 shutouts, ladies and gentlemen, that's just amazing. I can't even imagine that, because a 44-game season where you're the only goalie, and goalies weren't used to playing a full campaign. So that's a Legend of Hal Winkler. Any Boston Bruins fans listening, this is dedicated to you. You're showing a lot of support to my Boston Bruins podcast here. So if you like us to feature some of the vintage Bruins that we haven't talked about, check our archives. Give us a like, comment, or subscribe. And again, if you want us to do more Boston Bruins podcasts, let us know. And let us know specifically who you want to do, because there's a myriad of stars in the Boston universe. Have a good day. Bye.